YouTube viewers, welcome to my channel. In this video, I will be discussing about file permissions and access mode in Linux-based system. File ownership is an important concept of Unix that provides a secure method for storing files. So without any further delay, let's quickly get started. Let me open my Git repo. Again, I have created an EC2 machine in AWS Cloud and connected to it using SSH client option that I will be using for the practical demo today. But first, let's discuss about the theoretical concept of this particular file permissions. Okay. So what is file permissions in Linux? Each file or directory in Linux is assigned with three types of owner, that is user, group and others. So what do you mean by user? User is actually the owner of file. By default, who have created the file will be the owner of that particular file. So that will be considered as the user. Okay. Now next comes the group. What is group? Group is defined as collection of users having the same permission. If you have a group of users from development team and want them to give same set of permissions for a file, then you can define permissions at group level and all the users inside that group will have the same access. I have already shown in my previous video how to create a user or how to create a group. You can check that video. I will be sharing the link in description. Okay. Now, what is others? Other means access to the rest of world who is neither the owner or belong to any group. Okay, so basically we have these three types of owner for a file or directory. It can either be user or group or others. Now comes the concept for Linux file permissions. So for any file or any executable file or normal text file, we have these three kind of permissions, that is read, write and execute. What does it mean by read? Read means permission to open and read a file. Means they can't modify or write any content to that particular file, but they can just view that particular file. So that comes into the read file permission. Now is the write. Write means they can modify that particular file. You can modify any content for a file. You can save it back. So that comes under the write file permissions. Now we have the third permission called as execute. Execute means permission to run any command such as running exe file, or if you are running some Python code. For Windows we have .exe which we execute. So if that permission is there, then we need to grant them the execute permissions. Or if you have any Python file, you want to execute any Python code, then you have executable permission on that particular file. Okay. Now to view the permission or file or directory assigned to the user, group or others, run the command ls-l. Let's get back to machine and run that particular command ls-l. Okay. Now currently I don't have any file in this current working directory. Let's see what is my current working directory. I am under the home EC2 user folder. Okay. Now here I don't have any file. Let's create one file. Okay. Let's create an empty file. Touch DEVOPS.TXT. Okay. So now once I have created this DEVOPS.TXT file and execute the command ls-l, I will be seeing these many informations about the DEVOPS.TXT file. I will go in deep of all these options. So the first thing, it defines what is the set of permissions for user or group or others, what I have already explained in the theoretical part. So this defines that particular section. Then this is the user. So by default, whoever have created the file will have the user access. Okay. So user is ec2-user because I have created this file logging with the ec2-user. Then which group it belongs to, when it was created, what is the time it has created and what's the file. Okay. So the first thing, let's discuss about this part. What is this part? Okay. See, so this particular part is having total 3, 3, 6, 9 and 10. Total 10 sections. Okay. So the first thing is this one. This defines whether it is a file or directory. If it is hyphen, then it is a file type. If it is D, then it is a directory type. Since DEVOPS.TXT is a simple plain file, so we have the hyphen. If we have a directory, then you can see it will be D. Let's create a directory also to see this. Okay. See, D. Test is a directory, so it will come at D. Okay. So the next thing, Next three is for the user level permissions. So by default, the user EC2-user will have what kind of permissions on this particular DEVOPS.txt file. Okay. So it determines user is having read access to that file. Then it defines whether it is having the write permission to that file. Then it defines whether user is having execute permission for that particular file. Okay. So R for read, W for write, X for execute. Okay. And if it is a blank, just simple hyphen means no permission. Okay. So for DEVOPS.txt, the first three sections R, W and hyphen means EC2-user, that is the owner of file, will have read access and write access to that particular file. Since it is not an executable file like exe or .py file, so the executable permission is not there and it is denoted by hyphen. Okay. Again, the next three parameters defined for the group level access. So here the group, that is EC2-user, is having again the read access and write access to the particular file. And the next three then defines for the world. Okay. So what access does the other user who neither belongs to the user level or group level, what he is having that particular access. Okay. So here the world is just having the read access to DEVOPS.txt file, means they can view that file, but they don't have write or executable permission on that particular file. Okay. So total we have these three many sections for the, this is for user. Okay. And this is for the world, sorry, this is for the group, and then this is for the world. Okay. And this defines whether it is a file or directory. Okay. Now next comes the next concept, that is, here these things I have already explained. Okay. Now comes how we can change the permissions for a file or directory. Okay. So to change in the permission for any file or directory, we have numeric way or we have the symbolic way. In numeric way, what we define? If we want to define no permission, then use 0. If we want just to give execute permission, then write 1. If we want to give write permission, then write 2. Execute plus write, then 3. Read for 4. Like this, we have defined the numeric representation for any permissions. Again, if we want to give symbolic way, then this is the way. Okay. -x, -w, hyphen. Okay. Let's try with the numeric way and try one example. Okay. Here I've already shared one example actually. Let's say you have a file DEVOPS.txt and you want to give below permissions. Okay. Then this can either be done in the numeric or symbolic way. Means I want to give read, write and execute to user. I want to give read and write to group and no permission to other. Okay. So here I have mentioned like this can be done using this command. Okay. So let's copy this command. Okay. I will paste it here. Fine. So chmod is the command that we can use to change file permissions or directory permission. Then we are using the numeric way. So the first 7 denotes for the user level permission. Then 6 denotes for the group level permissions and 0 for the world. Okay. So what does that 7 mean? 7 actually I have written over here. 7 means read, write and execute. Means read, write and execute permission to the owner of the file. Okay. That for the user. Then we have 6. 6, what does it mean? 6 means read and write. So means read and write permission to the group level. Okay. Then we have 0 means no permission to the rest of the world. 0 means no permissions. Okay. So 7 denotes these first 3 section, then 6 for the next 3 section and 0 for the last section for the world. Okay. Let's try running this command. Okay. So first do ls-l. Currently you have, so you don't get confused, I will delete this directory first. Okay. Whatever I have created. Okay. Now it's deleted. Clear the screen and do ls-l again. Okay. Now currently you have these permissions for the DEVOPS.txt file. Okay. Means the user level is not having the execute permission and the world is having just the read, and we want to give no access to the world. Let's try this. Okay. Let's hit enter. Now again do ls-l. Now what you can see, the user is having read, write and execute permission to the file. Previously he was not having the execute permission. Then the next is same because we are assigning the same permission now also. And again the world is having no permissions to that file. Previously it was having the read access. Okay. This way, using the chmod command, we can modify the file permissions. Okay. Now again we have the chown command. Currently this file is being owned by EC2 user, okay, but we want it to be owned by some other user. Then in that case we have the other concept called as chown. Using that command we can change the owner of the file or we can change the group of the file. Same way, it is currently belonging to the EC2-user group, but if we want to change it to some other group, then again we need to use the chown command. Okay, now see how to do that. First, see if any other user is available in this particular machine. Okay, cat etc password. Okay, see here we have one more user, that is DEVOPS-user. So let's see if we can change the ownership of the file to DEVOPS-user. How to do that? chown, then you need to give the username, that is DEVOPS-user, and then you need to give the file name. Let's hit enter. Changing ownership of DEVOPS.txt operation not permitted means as a EC2 user I am not able to change the permission for that particular file. Let's try to log in with the root user. Okay, now we are into the root user. Do ls-l here. Here we don't have that particular file. It's in under the, let's go into that directory, home EC2 user. Okay, now do ls-l and now try to change the permission. Let's see if it can be done now. Now do ls-l. See, now I have the permission to change the ownership of that particular file. Now the file belongs to DEVOPS-user. Means this file is now being owned by the DEVOPS-user. Same way, if you want to change the group also, you can use this option, that is group name and then the file name. Okay, that's how we work with the file permissions and how to change the ownership of the file. This is very important concept while we are working with Linux. I hope now you are clear with the file permissions in Linux. If you have any doubt, please do comment. I will be ready to help you. Till then, bye bye, take care, stay happy and healthy.